Hey guys, I have another Wi-Fi battle, and this is a UU match against TheLastTaquito, a fellow Mexican battler. So, yeah, let's get started. So yeah, he decides to go into his Vigoroth as I go for my cargo, and he decides to use Taunt. I didn't know, Vigoroth can carry that. So yeah, I go for the Stealth Rock, doesn't work. So I go for a Lava Plume, hoping to burn the Vigoroth, but instead he decides to switch into my Milotic. And that was bad for me. I knew he was going to go for a water type move, and I was right. He goes for the Hydro Pump, and that will do a lot of damage to Grumpig, considering that Grumpig is a pretty bulky poke. And he goes for another Hydro Pump, hoping to kill the Grumpig, but that doesn't happen. I live with a few HP left, and I decided to go for a sub because I thought I could maybe set up a sub, but that doesn't happen. So now he decided to switch. I go for the stab sidekick, and he decides to go into his Aggron, which it did nothing to. So yeah, I noticed that this Aggron has leftovers, so I know this is a wall of some sort. And he decides to go for the Stealth Rock, so I know this is a bulky Aggron instead of one of those rock polish Aggrons that everyone uses. And he goes for a ×4 effective earthquake on my Macargo, and that does a lot of damage, but Macargo took it pretty well for considering that it's ×4 effective. And I decided to set up some rocks as I go for switch into Grumpig, and I was using Grumpig as fodder. So yeah, he goes for an earthquake, and that will take down Grumpig. And so yeah, I decided to go into the trio because it has Arena Trap, which traps the opponent's Pokemon. It somehow on the ground. Yeah, so ×4 effective, stab, choice bandit, the trio will definitely take down the Aggron. And now he decides to go into his Milotic, which I noticed until up to that point it was scarfed. So yeah, he decides to go for a Hydro Pump to get some damage on the Dugtrio, and it missed, and he misses again as I go for a Toxic. I went for a Toxic. I knew it was gonna activate his Marvel Scale, but I just wanted to get some damage in, even though when Macargo's gone. So he would, when every time he would switch, he would get some damage on Stealth Rock and then poison damage. So yeah, that ended up being a stupid move later in the game, but yeah, I just wanted some more damage on it. So I go into Altaria knowing that he's locked into Hydro Pump. So we decide to switch as I go for the Stab Draco Meteor Specs. And that does a lot to Hypno, considering that Hypno has one of the greatest special defenses in the game. So yeah, that is way more than half. He has about 1/4 health left. And another Draco Meteor will take it down. So I have Altaria left, and he decides to go into his Vigoroth. So I was fearing the Ice Punch or the Pursuit, but he doesn't seem to have the Pursuit. So I decided to switch into Kabutops, and he will go for a Night Slash, and that does very little damage because Kabutops has pretty good defenses. And I go for the Aqua Jet because I thought this Vigoroth could be faster, but I didn't know that this was a pretty defensive Vigoroth, and it has the counter. So yeah, now I'm pretty scared of that Vigoroth. I go into Absol. I just go straight for the Night Slash, hoping to kill, and it does. Which is pretty good. He went for the taunt, so I wouldn't set up my Swords Dance and Sweep, which is a good play for him. And I went for the Cycle Cut right here because it's super effective against Venusaur, and I knew it was probably gonna live it because Venusaurs are very bulky, and it decides to use a unique moveset for this Venusaur, and it has Curse. So that was a very unique move. I've seen it a couple of times. So yeah, another Psycho Cut would definitely take it down, considering how much damage it did the first time. So now he decides to go into his Milotic, and I go straight for the Psycho Punch because this Milotic is Scarfed. And yeah, he would go straight for the Ice Beam, and that will not take me down. And now he gets more poison damage as I go for another Psycho Punch, and that will definitely take down the Milotic. So now his taunt wore off, and he's down to his last poke. He has his Blaziken, and I just wanted to get rid of this Blaziken as soon as possible. And I went straight for the Psycho Punch, not knowing that this actually had Substitute, which I was fearing. And I went for the Psycho Cut, knowing he's going to set up something, or at least break his sub. So now I did break his sub, and now I know for sure he's going to attack. So I went for the Psycho Punch, hoping to get a crit or something with Absol's Super Luck. But no, that doesn't happen. But it still does a lot of damage to Blaziken. So I didn't know his last move. So I went to Altaria, hoping it wasn't like Stone Edge or something. And now he goes for another sub, thinking I would probably overpredict. And I went for the Dragon Pulse just to break the sub, or, you know, take it down. So I activated his Lychee Berry plus Blaze, which will take down Altaria. And now Blaziken is set. So now I go down to my last poke too, and I go for a Sucker Punch, and yeah, that was a good game, LastTaquito. That was a very good battle. Yeah, peace.